Okay, so James Miner is the CEO of MinerLabs, which is an over-the-top solutions company. And James, for those of you who don't know, James will explain what over-the-top means. Prior to MinerLabs, James was SVP at ESPN Star Sports, which is now known as Fox Sports Asia, where he led the Asian digital media business. Okay? Before ESPN Star, James was in senior leadership positions at Group M, Blue Interactive Marketing, Scient, Praxis Management Consulting, Y&R WCJ Advertising, About.com, and Prodigy Internet. Please put your hands together and welcome James Miner.
Thank you, Ian. Thanks, everyone. Thank the WDA. It's really nice that they give these afternoon chats and give you an opportunity to meet with some of the people who are doing some of the things we'll talk about today. You have some great speakers, definitely after me. Everyone know what over-the-top video refers to? How many people know what over-the-top video means? Excellent. Well, I was sitting here watching the World Cup highlights on my phone. So this would be an example of, yeah, there's the highlights from last night. This is over-the-top video. Some people refer to it as TV everywhere, which means that you paid a cable subscription and therefore you get it on your phone or your computer. But over-the-top was invented as a phrase by broadcasters to talk about things like YouTube. And I'm going to take you through a little tour about what this video everywhere kind of thing is. But in its simplest form, it means I can be sitting there while Ian's introducing me, watching last night's highlights of the World Cup. So you never have to worry that you're going to be away from your favorite programs. So video everywhere means that you don't have to be away from the beginning of the Formula One race just because your wife wants to go shopping at Takashimaya. So I can always say yes to my wife when she wants to go down and pick out a nice dress and I want to watch the beginning of the Formula One. She's actually a Formula One fan too, so she likes it when I bring the tablet. And we're able to expect and receive all of the programming that we love, that we feel that we've paid for because we don't do things legally, that we want to have wherever. I still like to sit at home and watch movies and do things like that. But things that happen on a very timely basis, like the World Cup or things of that nature, I'm not sure I would know what to do without being able to connect on a tablet or a mobile device. I'd have to be rushing home, or I'd have to go to a bar, I'd have to watch the game, and it sort of restricts some of your freedom. So once people have the ability to have anywhere, anytime, any screen access to content, it's very hard to go back to the old way of watching television on a set schedule. We're going to see what that means. So we're going to look at a little bit of television everywhere, a little bit of OTT, a little bit of World Cup, and then we're going to talk about what that kind of does to the future of media. So again, over-the-top and TV everywhere are pretty much used the same way. So people will say, oh, I'm watching something over the top, and yet they're getting it on their StarHub or Singtel connection, which actually would be TV everywhere, because you have paid for it. But kids today, who all think that the iPad is television, kids today watch YouTube. Over 60% of new music discoveries, that's music, not video, over 60% of youth discover their music on YouTube. And so YouTube is sort of the radio from our childhood. And yet that is a pure, over-the-top, unauthenticated, no sign-in, open for everybody, available in every device service. And so at one end of the spectrum, you have what millennials want, which is anywhere, anytime access. And at the other, you kind of have what we get with our cable subscriptions, whether it be PCCW or Astro or Singtel, which is the TV everywhere. Now you'll see a little bit of football going on up there. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Television that doesn't happen on a television. 90% of the interactions that we have today with content, experiences, are screen-based. So print media and outdoor, everything is shrinking. What you do on a computer, what you do on a television, what you do on a mobile device, all these screens. So personally, I carry probably about 3 screens with me at all times. It's very annoying. I don't like it, but it's reality. So what that means is that if you want to talk to your audiences, you should have a multi-screen strategy. You should understand that people watch television with a phone in their hands while watching television. Right now, 66% of the traffic on the internet is video. Who here watches any sort of video on their laptops or computers? Excellent, fantastic. 8 out of the top 10 things that we do in Singapore online are video. The other 2 are social media. So yes, by a show of hands, about 80% of the room is like, oh yeah, I do that. How many people are watching the World Cup online late at night? All of my fans. So video consumes a lot of the internet bandwidth, so much so that it would take you individually, yes, right there, you, 5 million years to watch all the video that's going to be streamed in 2018. Okay? Think about that. We're moving so much content at this point that 5 million years of video will go across the internet in 2018. You also see an expression up there, Zettabyte. Can anyone tell me that you know what a zettabyte is? One big hand, one, no, okay. 1,000 exabytes? Okay, so that would be 1,000 terabytes times 1,000 exabytes. You get into a zettabyte, that is a very large number. And so therefore, we're looking at new ways of transporting video that are more efficient, that are faster, and that will be able to, let's say, increase the total bandwidth of the internet, because otherwise it will not be able to handle all the people who raised their hands and said, I like watching movies online. There are tons of services, tons. A lot of us in the room probably have heard of things like PP Stream, yeah? Tudo, Youku, Toggle, CineMSN. These services will continue to grow because the number of people watching video on the internet and the number of services, there's still too few services for what we do. Anyone heard of Netflix? Excellent. Netflix is bigger than any cable company in the US. Think of that. So when you think of Comcast and Time Warner, Netflix is bigger than them. And with 48 million subscribers, 20% of all internet traffic in the US is Netflix. That's just massive. It's like you got on the train in the morning, and every 5th train was just Netflix people. Hi, how's it going? We're the Netflix train. 20% of all the traffic, right? That's a contract that you want to get a hold of. That's a lot of data. And here at home, I'll explain the small chart. I added that later. Didn't come out too good. Here at home, we watch online the same way that we watch television. So any of the broadcasters or anyone who works within the media industry will look and say, we're human, and obviously at 8 o'clock at night, we want to watch our favorite programming. But what we're doing is time shifting or accessing different types of content than what's on television. But the behaviors are the same. Anyone like to curl up and watch their entire series on a tablet on the weekends? Right? People downloading House of Cards and watching the whole season? Well, this is now normal behavior. Saturdays are still the biggest day to watch TV. That tiny little chart there tells you the top 10 things that we do on the internet in Singapore. But it would look the same in China. It would look the same in Hong Kong. It would look the same in the US. This is what people do. You give them a high-speed connection and the freedom to watch what they want. And the next thing you know, it's the World Cup, it's a movie series, it's House of Cards, it's Game of Thrones. And it's not going to stop. So when you look at 5 times the number of devices being shipped, this is when smartphones doubled in the last year. So the number of smartphones that were in usage a year ago has doubled. And it will double again. And we are continuing and continuing and continuing to feed this habit. And so therefore, this is an indication that over-the-top video and TV everywhere however we want to call it, will continue to grow exponentially, and anyone who's in advertising knows that we don't have a clue how to do a good job of talking to you on a tablet device. And you'll see some really good marketing ideas that start to solve that problem. But this is an area where the entire ad industry is trying to figure out, I don't know, what are we going to do? So, fun stuff. The World Cup is an amazing event. The Sochi Olympics, the World Cup, these are global phenomena. This is where every guy is trying to figure out how to get either the day off from work. I know there's going to be a lot of tired people on Saturday showing up after this week's round of games. But how to get days off of work, how to basically get half days. I did not stay up for the US game. I really didn't think they were going to beat Belgium, but that's okay. I did stay up for the Brazil game. I'm hoping they do really well, but I think I'm rooting for the Netherlands. So anyone out there who's rooting for the Netherlands, yay. The total impact of this on the computer networks is that in the hours of 12 midnight Singapore until about 6 in the morning, globally, they're experiencing terabytes of data per second. Now, I've done some really big events like cricket in India, but terabits per second is like just record-setting. They think it's going to basically be the largest digital event in history. When I say 1.7 million concurrent viewers, that's more than 10 times. That's 20 times the record that we set 4 years ago for the Cricket World Cup. I think we had 500 or 300,000, 375,000 concurrents. 1.7 million concurrents is astronomical. Most of us dip in and dip out, 10 minutes of this, a little of TV. So these record numbers are amazing. And ESPN is 20% of the global traffic for viewers. And Americans don't really get football. So something's changing. Another Cinderella story is the Univision, who is the Spanish US cable network. Univision is getting record numbers of visits as well. Over 11% of their total audience is coming in over tablets and mobile devices. 87% of the people connecting to Univision on digital are using a mobile device. All right, so it's doubled since the last World Cup. Smartphones are becoming the primary access point to the internet and to sports. Now, to be fair, when they say mobile, they mean tablet and phone. All right, so more than 30% of the total mobile traffic is actually tablet traffic because we're watching movies and doing other things. But these numbers are astronomical. They even streamed it for free for the first 2 rounds, the group stages. Did everyone know that they had free access to streaming? No, you didn't. So Univision was trying to make a point. Univision paid over $350 million in that range for the rights, and they're going to lose them to someone who paid $600 million for the rights. And so they decided, you know what? How big can we make this? So as a give back to their fans, they said, we'll make it free for 2 rounds. These events create incredible case studies. So the case studies revolve around things like, well, how much money do I spend on TV? How much money do I spend on that internet thing? And now it's becoming not just a thing, it's becoming a massive scale. So this World Cup, which will be 10 times the size of the Sochi Olympics streaming, the Olympics were big, right? Will deliver a lift for Univision, a lift for ESPN, a lift for BBCI, a lift for every single broadcaster who is open to the idea of TV and internet streaming. The largest match so far hit a record 6.84 terabits per second. I'm just going to tell you that that's like a bus driving through your living room. It's very hard to handle that scale of data live. And there were a few moments when they almost lost control of it. That's how big those numbers are. So that's Akamai, who's actually based out of Singapore, born in Boston, delivering globally all of the World Cup. So absolutely phenomenal numbers. And it's a social phenomenon. was talking earlier with Lisa, and she was saying the number of tweets that go up on the penalty shoots trying to predict what's happening are incredible. Everyone likes to talk about their team. Everyone likes to predict the score. But really, this is getting to be a global phenomenon. There will be some events coming up that will even closer unify our culture, Western culture. I've been out here 16 years, and I'm telling you, we're a lot of this traffic. A lot of these updates, a lot of these scores, a lot of these things, a social phenomenon. We are talking with our friends, and we're doing it in the middle of the night, and we're doing it live. So the idea that we're still trying this out is over. The sheer numbers that we're seeing for people who are showing a preference for on-the-go consumption of their favorite shows is beyond a test case. Fans love having anywhere, anytime access, but it also is true for programs that are live. We have passions for these shows, the shows we don't want to miss, the premieres, the things that are time sensitive. Wherever you are, you can pick up a device and you can watch them. So this is something that connects very strongly with your passion for the things that you love, that you take with you everywhere. And so anyone who's looking at advertising, technology, marketing, any of that, you've got to start to think that the closest screen to your audience is the one in their hands. This is how we talk to people. And it's not one or the other. The really bold ideas are the ones where we're giving people the ability to create, to do things that they want to do with it, and to do so in a way that connects with them. And that's us for the day. Thank you very much.